Well, got this thing out of the bracket, checking power supply caps. I haven't removed those AC line filter capacitors yet, but all four of these big ones, I mean, sometimes it's not the best to test them in circuit, but from looking at the traces on this side, I don't think I've got any in parallel testing them like this. So I think all these big capacitors, these four big ones, are fine. I haven't tested any of the rest of these, but it seems to me like it's usually the smaller ones that go bad first, so I'll probably check all the little ones and then a couple of the big ones just to see. And I mean, the ESR on all these big capacitors was still very, very low. Kind of surprising, actually. According to my Chinesium ESR meter, at least, this one, this one, this one, and this one, all four of which happen to be the smallest caps on the board, funnily enough, are questionable. This one here is actually bad. Well, I mean, the ESR is too high, and these other three are getting pretty close to having too high an ESR to be acceptable. But all the rest of these larger capacitors, including this one right here, which is kind of on the smaller side of the larger ones, they're all just fine according to the Chinesium ESR meter. So I'm going to just replace those four and call it done, I think. And of course remove the AC line filter capacitors. Well, we took care of the reefer madness and pulled these four caps that tested bad on the Chinesium ESR meter. Three of them are 100 microfarad and the other one's at 220. So let's see here. We need some 100 microfarad capacitors. Oh, I don't have, what? Yeah, maybe I put them in the wrong drawer. I'm going to shut the camera down and look. I'll be back. Well, I don't have any radial 100 microfarad capacitors that aren't 16 volt Chinesium junk. I don't know how that happened. I'm a failure at electronifying things. I do have a few axial 100 microfarad capacitors that are of decent quality. I guess I could install these radially, put a piece of heat shrink over one lead or something like that. That's kind of janky, but I mean, what the hell else am I going to do, right? I guess we'll just have to do that. I'll just bend the negative lead over like that and stick them in like that with a piece of heat shrink over the frickin' lead. Janky as hell. Janky as hell. Oh, so janky. All of you out there watching are probably cringing right now. But I'm nothing if not the redneck engineer. So be it. I would think that would work fine. I kind of hate to have long leads on like logic circuits and stuff, but on a power supply, surely it'll be fine. I guess if it's not, I can always desolder the suckers too. Those big traces take a good bit of heat, don't they? Now what's going to happen is I'm going to use up all of my axial 100 microfarad capacitors doing this, and then that'll end up being what I need for those axial capacitors on the back plane. That's how my luck works, boys. Yep, pretty janky. Pretty janky. Alright, well, hopefully that takes care of the power supply. Don't roll away there, trash capacitor. For For those of you that are worried about the removal of the AC line filter capacitors, I've talked about that before. I don't think they're necessary since nobody watches broadcast TV anymore, but I did label them on the board so that I can replace them if I need to at some point, but I don't think I will. Starting to reassemble things here. There's the Chad fan and the power supply that we replaced some capacitors on, and I got the front panel all ready to go. Put some electrical cleaner into the switches here, and they're working pretty good here. The switches, the two styles of switches are actually pretty. Whoop. I'll break the son of a bitch before I even get it back together. Won't that be a feat? The style of the all set up there, you should ask. The style of the switches is different. The switches out of the machine that got smashed up in shipping have these really short nubbin thingaroos on them, right? And they're not cut off; they're factory like that. So the ones that came on the replacement faceplate, they've got these great big long flippers on them, and I thought I liked the great big long flippers better at first, but now I'm not so sure. I thought I had these switches working a little better than this, but they're not. That's not a very tactile switch right now. After the contact cleaner dried up in that thing, it's gotten shitty again. But the ones that came out of the machine, that one works all right. But the power switch is just a little. The old power switch, yeah, the old power switch feels a lot better than this one. Yeah, I'm gonna put those short boys in there. That switch is just wore out. That's a shame, and the flipper's riveted in there, so I don't think I can just switch the flippers. Oh well. I also put a different LED in the front here that I think will be it'll look a little bit more like an incandescent bulb. So that'll be neat. And I can't get all the dirt off of this keyboard cable. And it's got some nicks in it. I may just make a whole new one. I've got all the right stuff to crimp these kind of connectors, and I think I've got some DIN 5. Yeah, I've got some DIN 5 connectors that I can put on the other end. I'll make it black too. I think that'll look better. I'm gonna have to I think I'm gonna just have to paint the whole thing too. This silver paint's just pretty janky in a lot of places. But nobody seems to know exactly what color to use to color match these things. I've got this hammered silver paint that I was thinking about using. I'm gonna have to paint the keyboard anyway, so I might as well just paint the whole machine so it all matches, but I may actually paint it gold instead, because like Professor Pterodactyl said, my keyboard badge here is turned to gold anyway, so I might as well just paint the whole thing gold. Yeah, it'll be like the pimpin' computer. Yeah. There's a Model 4 ad that's gold, ad for a gold Model 4 somewhere. That's kind of funny, but no, I don't think there were ever any gold Model 2s. I don't know. Gold would probably look pretty tacky, but I think that hammered silver is going to look just as tacky. So I don't know what the hell to do, man. It's going to take a hell of a lot of taping and spazzing around no matter what, but so be it. Yeah. I still don't know which video analog board and CRT I want to use, or even really which power supply I ought to use. I mean, if I'm going to use the other power supply, now's the time to switch them. So I think before I continue with this, I'm going to take some pictures of all of the components that I've got multiples of here and post them on the VCF forums and see what people think will make the best machine. As far as the tubes, I guess I ought to just use whichever one is sharpest and seems to have the most phosphorus left, but I really don't know which video analog board I ought to be using or power supply, so I assume that the CRTs are completely interchangeable. Might have to swap the deflection yokes, but as far as the picture tubes, I'm pretty sure that they're completely interchangeable, but I don't know for sure. We'll find out. Anyway, that's it for the moment. I'll talk to you next time.